What's up, guys? Edgy here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a very good Necromancer build. This is not fully optimized for total endgame. This is just, beginning of the endgame. So once you hit level 50, once you get to World Tier 3, basically, I'm still in World Tier 3. I haven't gotten 4 yet because I'm lazy. Totally could, though. Even at level 60. This build is just so strong. But, yeah, so let me get into the gear. Okay, so this isn't fully optimized on the jewelry part, but basically, this helmet, Deathless Visage, it makes it so your bone spear explodes. So when you throw your bone spear, which is your main ability, you're going to be using this literally all the time. When you throw it, it's going to leave behind these echoes, or whatever the fuck they want to call it, that explode. And they deal a shitload of damage. It's pretty good. I don't have like the best roll when it comes to stats. I mean, it has a good like damage roll, but other than that, yeah, it's not too great. But yeah, chest. You're gonna want to get the 25% increase armor for 4 seconds. That stacks to 25%, or anything in between the 25 and 50%, or yeah. So you need that. It's very good. It's gonna make you survive a lot because Necromancer has like almost no fucking survivability. It's really squishy. It's like a glass cannon, kind of like Sork. So these stats aren't optimized either, really. What you are gonna want is a fortify generation, damage reduction in general, total armor, stuff like that. Anything with defensive, like tankiness on it, you're gonna really want for your chest piece. Gloves. Gloves are, my gloves aren't too great, but yeah. So you're not gonna want to run the Bone Prison spawns a Pool of Blight. This should be. Let me think. Let me go check. Okay, so these gloves should be the affix, like the orange, should be whenever you use corpse tendrils, it gives you crit damage. So make sure to put that affix on your gloves. This is not, again, this build is not optimized, but even then, this isn't even a fully optimized build, and it's still pumping. It's really strong. But you're going to want the ranks of Bone Sphere, crit damage with bone skills, stuff like that. This whole build relies heavily off of crit damage, crit chance, to get to 100% crit chance, I meant. Bone crit strike damage. And, yeah, it's basically like that. It's just a glass cannon. It does a fuckload of damage. Pants. Basically what happened with the chest here, you're going to want to do with the pants as well, but the legendary power, you're going to want to have Bone Storm. Whenever it damages an enemy, it gives you a barrier to, should be aiming for 5% of your base life for 10 seconds. It literally, when you pop Bone Storm, if you go into a group of enemies, you will not die, no matter what. It just is so strong. You will not die. Very good. You're going to want damage reduction, all that stuff. Anything that helps you with survivability. Boots. Okay, so another thing about Necromancer, it's not the best class in the whole game at all. Probably the worst, to be honest. One of the main things it struggles with is mobility. Survivability and mobility on Necro is horrible. Mobility, if you've ever done a nightmare dungeon with a Necromancer, you'll know you're playing with the Necromancer because you'll never see them, because they're going to be behind you collecting all the loot because they can't keep up with you. So that's what Necromancer is known for. So to help that, you're going to want to have this legendary affix. Crit Strike grants movement speed. Pretty solid. Helps you with, obviously fucking movement speed. For the stats, you're going to want to have like corpse tendrils plus 2 ranks. I think you can go higher than that if you get ancestral. You're going to want some dodge chance, movement speed, not the movement speed after killing an elite. You should just have flat movement speed. That's not a good roll. These boots aren't the greatest roll. You're going to need the essence cost reduction. That's like, you need it. The bone spear takes a lot of fucking essence. A lot of essence. For the boot power thing, the evade grants 70% movement speed. You don't want that shit. You're going to want, I believe it goes to 4 dodges or evades. I believe you can get on this. So that's what you're going to want. Yeah. Okay. As for armor, for gemming, 1 socket for helmet, 2 for chest and legs. Gloves and boots cannot be socketed. You cannot have gems in these. So for gems, you're going to want to run the, not this one. This is also another thing. I cannot use the max level gems yet because, you know, nowhere near max yet. It's still level 60. I think they're called flawless rubies or something. Gives you like 5% maximum life. It's really good for helping survivability. You're going to want to put those in literally every armor socket you can. For the weapon, I have a very good roll actually for this weapon, but yeah, so Bone Spear, the primary attack, hit beyond the first vulnerable, wait, what? Primary attacks makes enemies hit beyond the first vulnerable for 5%, or for 5 seconds. Bone Shards from Bone Spear deal 225% bonus damage to vulnerable enemies and pierce them. This is the bread and butter. That is the bread and butter of the entire build. You need that. It's so good. So good. For your stats, okay, well, so I got super fucking lucky on the on this roll. Like, I literally just picked up this site like a couple days ago, just dropped for me in a nightmare, and yeah, very literally perfect affix roll. So I'm just gonna basically, once I get to ancestral gear, I'm gonna find a sword, because scythes have the if you see below the damage per second, it says plus 116 life on kill. Scythes have that as their passive stat is life on kill. Not too good. You're gonna want a sword, because swords give crit damage, which is, you know, what you want. It's kind of lame, I know. I think necromancers should have scythes, because that's way cooler, but maybe they'll give us transmog for that one day. I don't know. But you're going to want to be using swords. Preferably, for stats-wise, you're going to want to have vulnerable damage, core skill damage, damage with bone attacks, or whatever the hell that was, and, what was it? I think it was crit chance? Something like that. Anyway, anything with crit. If you see crit or core skill damage or something like that, just, you know, it's good. As for gem-wise, you're going to want to put an emerald in there, because emeralds just crit strike damage to vulnerable enemies. This whole build is going to be making people vulnerable. Yeah, it speaks for itself. So yeah, you're going to be making them vulnerable, literally one-shotting everything. I'll do some gameplay of it later on in the video. Yeah, it's insane. Okay, as for necks, this is not a good neck at all. You do not want this at all. Yeah, so I'll come back to this. Yeah. Okay, for the neck piece, you're going to want to have the aspect that gives you extra crit damage with bone skills for your ossified essence passive. It just increases the percentage or whatever. Yeah, you're going to want that on your neck piece. For stats-wise, you're going to want essence. To anything that says essence, I think there's only one. So if it says essence, just, yeah, it's good. And then defensive stuff. Armor. Let me see. Yeah, you're going to want armor, essence cost reduction. Let me think. Oh, damage reduction, stuff like that. Just basically what you had on your pants and chest piece. Somewhat relatable, yeah. For the ring, oh yeah, so what you're gonna want on here, the aspect, you're gonna want onto your neck piece. So you're just gonna, just flip that around. But for your rings, you're gonna want to have these two aspects that are very good aspects. So if I can show you here, if I can get on my horse real quick. You can get one of the, okay, so there's two. One of them gives you a flat amount of essence. I think it's like 50, or it can be about 50 essence on it's like a lucky hit. So you can have a 10% chance of having, I think it's like 50 essence that generates. You're going to really want that, but you can't get it from a dungeon. Like, so every dungeon will give you, or almost every dungeon can give you the aspects or whatever. So you can go to here, the occultist, and then put your ring in, do the codex of power, do all that, and you get the legendary. So there is one, I'll just show you which one it is. I'll just put my ring on here. It is this one. So aspect of the umbral. You're going to want to be using this until you can get that lucky hit one, because that lucky hit one is not farmable. You can't just go do a dungeon and get the lowest version of it. You're going to have to get lucky. I haven't been lucky yet. I haven't seen it. Maybe I have and I just didn't notice, but yeah. I'll get it one day. And so yeah, until then, I'd advise using this. You don't even need to though, because Corpse Explosion will fix the essence problem really. I'll get to that later, but yeah, so some builds require you just don't use Corpse Explosion. I like Corpse Explosion. It's fun. It does a lot of damage. But yeah, so try to get this if you can. I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna do all that, but yeah. There's another one where I think it's, oh yeah, crit strikes with bone skills cause you to gain a flat amount of essence or something. Oh no, it increases your essence generation by a flat percentage. You're gonna want that on your other ring. Yeah, so you're gonna really want that. Oh, and for stats, you're gonna want to have like crit strike damage, vulnerability damage, literally anything like that on your rings. As for the gems on your rings and neck, you're gonna want to have skulls, because they give you flat armor. Everything else, every other gem gives you like resistances, and resistances at the moment are horrible. You never want to have resistances on your gear. It's fucking useless. So yeah. As for the Book of the Dead, is your big surprise. You're a Necromancer, but it's crazy. You don't even use your fucking. You don't even summon anything. So yeah, you're gonna want to run Defenders for obvious reasons. You gain 19% non-physical resistance. So you just tank your overall. But you can't raise the warriors anymore. But that's obvious. So you can use that, or if you are not crit strike chance like maxed, like if you don't have 100% crit strike chance, you can use the skirmishers. I would still advise in like higher nightmare dungeons, if you're getting destroyed, just use the defenders. For skeletal mages, you're gonna want to run Shadow, because the maximum essence is insane. As you could see, Bone Spear 23 essence cost. That's almost giving you an extra Bone Spear. Bone Spear is very essence hungry. It's really, really expensive. So you're gonna want to run Shadow on Sacrifice. Oh, for golems. Okay, for golems, you're gonna want to run Iron, because it gives you or you want to sacrifice your Iron Golem. It gives you 39% increased crit strike damage. Very good. Very insane. So yeah, it's Book of the Dead. The abilities. Oh, Paragon. No. So for the abilities, you're going to run Bone Splinter. You're only going to put one rank into it. and you're going to get enhanced. You're not even going to get initiate or acolyte bone splinters, because bone splinter is just you only use it every now and then to get just essence. You know, if there's no corpses around to corpse explode, which I'll get to later. You're going to want to spam bone splinters because they give you, pretty good essence. Next, you're going to go to down here. Definitely, as soon as possible, max out Bone Spear. Get Enhanced Bone Spear, Paranormal Bone Spear. Enhanced makes it... okay, so Enhanced is like the bread and butter of Bone Spear. It causes your Bone Spear to break and launch 3 shards back towards you. So if you throw it, it'll break. If it hits a wall, it'll come back in 3 shards, and those 3 shards do a fuck ton of damage, especially with that especially with this aspect on your weapon. It's gonna do a lot of damage. So yeah, you're gonna want to have this one if you can. Bone Spear takes a lot of setup. So you're gonna want to put, if you can, get the pack near a wall, and then Bone Spear, because it'll cause the enhanced Bone Spears, like the shards, to come out and just destroy everything. It's really insane. Paranormal Bone Spear, it increases your crit strike chance. If the projectile of Bone Spear crits, it does 2 additional bone shards, so it's even more insane. It's busted. You're going to want to pick up Hued Flesh, 3 points into it. Your damage has up to a 12% chance to create a corpse at the target location. So this is going to be hand in hand with our next ability. We'll get to that. We're going to want to get Unliving Energy. It just increases our maximum essence by flat 9%. Or not 9%, but just 9. Imperfectly Balanced. So your core skills cost 9% more essence, but deal 15% increased damage. This is insane. You're gonna always want this. The essence cost doesn't matter. 15% increased damage, nutty. For your corpse abilities, you're gonna want to run 5 points into Corpse Explosion. You can lower this eventually, and put them into Necrotic Carapace. I'll get to that in a second. Anyways, put the points into Corpse Explosion, put 5 out of 5. You want to get Enhanced Corpse Explosion, and then you want to get... okay, so Enhanced just increases the radius. It's really... yeah, literally just increases it by 50%. Plagued Corpse Explosion. It does 8% more increased damage to vulnerable enemies, which is nuts. Really good, since your whole build is about fucking vulnerable enemies. So then vulnerable enemies would technically be taking 28% increased damage, because vulnerable enemies take 20% increased, and then you just add that 8%. 28% damage. Really good. You're going to want to pick up Bone Prison. So for Bone Prison, this is what... so the wombo combo of Bone Spear, you're going to want to gather a whole bunch of enemies, do some damage, and if you're lucky, Hued Flesh will pop. So, 12% chance to create a corpse. You will then use an ability we'll get to in a second, and then put Bone Prison around them. This causes them to be inside this little prison, little bone thing. It doesn't have a lot of HP at the moment. I think they should buff Bone Prison. It's not the best for certain enemies. Like, elites will just destroy your Bone Prison. Like, if you're ever, like... I know when I fight the Butcher, like, he will just shout and just instantly remove it. Like, there's, like, no point of even ever using Bone Prison on, like, the Butcher, because he'll just completely negate it. But for other enemies, and the wombo combo I'll show you later, is Bone Prison's, like, the way for it. But, to make Bone Prison even better, you want to get Enhanced, because for any... if there's an enemy in there, you gain 15 essence, and if you have any more, each enemy will give you 5 essence. Insane. Absolutely insane. Because you're going to be getting, like, 20, 30 enemies in that one little bone prison, you're gonna have like full essence. You're gonna be great. Ghastly bone prison. It just causes everybody inside a bone prison to be vulnerable. You know, obviously, it's really good. Grim Harvest. Like I was saying earlier, Grim Harvest. Consuming a corpse generates 6 essence. So, corpse explosion. This consumes the corpse. So, yeah. So if you ever are low on essence, you just spam it. Just spam it everywhere. Even if there's like no enemies around, and you're low on essence, and you're like maybe like you're trying to go to a boss room, or there's just an elite pack in front of you. Just go back to where you killed everything and just spam corpse explosion, because you'll just get all your essence back. Fueled by death. You deal 9% increased damage for 6 seconds after consuming a corpse. I believe that stacks. I might be thinking of something else, but I'm pretty sure that is the stacking bonus I get. No, it does not stack. That's a different bonus. Never mind. But yeah, still really good. 9% increased damage for 6 seconds is nuts. So if you're in a boss fight, when you deal damage, you can cause the corpse with that one passive, Hued Flesh. So on the boss, you just corpse explosion on the boss, and it gives you 9% increased damage for 6 seconds. That's part of the wombo combo. I'll get to the full thing later. For curse abilities, you're just gonna skip those completely. Fuck the curse abilities. We don't need those. If you want, you can do Decrepify. I heard this is pretty good. But other than that, yeah, just stick away. I mean, Iron Maiden's alright too, but this is not for the build. Not for this build. Anyways, Corpse Tendrils. So this is the ability I was talking about earlier. This thing is nuts. So it causes veins to come out of a corpse, and it pulls in every enemy in the radius, and the radius is pretty fucking big. And it pulls them into this one spot and stuns them for 3 seconds. The damage doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares about the damage part. It's about the CC. Probably the best CC in the game. If it wasn't kind of bugged, right now it's kind of buggy. I think there's like some collision issues with it right now, because you'll use Corpse Tendrils, and like sometimes it'll just pull all the enemies in it in the radius directly on top of each other, and then you get those satisfying like insta wipes of the whole room. Or sometimes it'll just take in like half of them and then leave the other halves where they were. It'll like kind of like tug them a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. You're gonna want to put 1 point into it. It says 2 because I have an item that gives me 2 points into it, or it says 3 because I have an item that gives me 2 points into it. You're gonna put 1 point into it. Points in Corpse Tendrils does not matter at all. You're not using it for the damage. You're using it for the CC. You're gonna want to get Enhanced Corpse Tendrils. It slows all the enemies in the range of Corpse Tendrils for 50%, which is nuts, so they can't get away from it. Blighted. This causes your Corpse Tendrils to drop blood orbs or whatever. Really good with the next passive we're going to pick up. But yeah, this Corpse Tendrils, insane. I'll get to the whole wombo combo. I'll show that in a like a dungeon or something. Necrotic Carapace. When a corpse is formed from your skills or your minions, fortify for 4% base life. So this is really strong. Because you're going to be having, where is it? You're going to be having Hued Flesh, so whenever you deal damage, it has a 12% to create a corpse. You know, you're going to be putting out a lot of corpses. So whenever you put one out, it's going to give you 4%, like a shield. Really good. For the other passes over here, Serration, you want to go 3 out of 3. Just gives you increased crit chance with your bone skills for each 10 essence you have upon cast. Compound Fracture, you want to put 3 out of 3. After critically striking 10 times with bone skills, your bone skills deal 15% increased damage for 5 seconds. Insane. Like one pack, you're going to get way more than 10 crits. Really good. Evulsion, your bone skills deal an 18% increased crit strike damage to vulnerables enemies. Really, really good. Just take it. It's really good. Standalone. increases damage reduction by 18%, reduced by 2% for each active minion. You're not using minions, so it doesn't matter. Standalone, really good. You know, just gives you damage reduction. Pretty obvious, really strong. Memento Mori, sacrificing both skeletal warriors and mages, increases their sacrifice bonus by 60%. So if you remember, that is giving us really good solid defense, like physical resistance, or non-physical resistances, and it's giving us more essence. So that's just really good. Yeah, Memento Mori. Bone Storm. This is Bone Storm is not the greatest. Like none of the Necromancer ultimates are really good at all. Their Blood Wave kind of sucks. Army of the Dead. You know, if you're doing a minion build, what are you doing? Minion build, fucking weirdo. Never use minions. There's only like 2 reliable builds for Necromancer at the moment. It's kind of sad, but it's, you know, it's just how it is. And yeah, Bone Spear, Bone Spirit. Bone Spear, I believe, is the better one because it doesn't require like a full like setup. I mean, there's a setup in Bone Spear, but Bone Spear is much more brain dead than Bone Spirit is. And Bone Spirit to build is just much harder to do. Bone Spirit, literally, like I'm doing possibly like the worst shit ever for my gear right now, and it's still destroying shit. Anyways, Bone Storm doesn't do a lot of damage. You're not picking it up for damage. You're doing it for that one aspect you have on your pants. You're gonna do it gives you the barrier or whatever. Really, 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 really strong. Makes you pretty much invincible. Yeah, you're gonna pick up that. Prime Bone Storm. It gives you damage reduction by 50% while Bone Storm is active. So, you know, it's giving you even more defensiveness, tankiness. Then you want to get Supreme Bone Storm. It increases your crit strike chance by 20%. Really good. So then you don't have to worry about getting crit strike chance on literally any other gear. It just helps you out. It's really good. Ossified Essence. So this is the passive you just, it's so good. So every point above 50 of essence you have makes this deal that much percent increased damage for bone skills. Really, really strong. So yeah, so if you have max essence, you're going to be doing literally like a nuts amount of damage, like 105% extra damage just because of the fucking essence. It's so good. Really, really good. As for Paragon points, you see I'm only level 60, so you know I'm not too deep into this, but you're going to go up to the right, pick up all these nodes, make sure to pick up Prime, get the willpower for the bonus or whatever. Really good bonus. 10% damage. It's really good. Up, you're going to want to get Blood Drinker. So this makes it so blood orbs, when you pick them up, it fortifies you for like 77% of your life. Really, really strong. Make sure to upgrade this to, I think 15 is the max. I don't know what the fuck the max is, but once you get to like 15, I think, it increases the radius. So the reason I have this one node, you shouldn't have this node, but I do right now because I haven't had this upgraded yet. When you do upgrade it, you'll have, where is it? Oh, you'll have this node. So yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about your intelligence in this radius. So once you do upgrade this, you can remove that point, and then yeah, so you have a free Paragon point. You want to go up. You're also going to want to pick up both of the rare nodes on each side. This one just gives you, you know, increased damage. Just the same thing over here. But then you want to get Preservation. Just gives you flat 200% armor, or 200 armor, and some intelligence. Really strong, you know. Also, yeah, pick up these 2 magic nodes. Basically just do what the hell this is. You want to go up. For the board, for the next board, you're going to have Bone Graft. I believe is the name of this build. Or board, yeah, Bone Graft. So Bone Graft, you're going to want to go to the right, up a little bit. Yeah, you know, all the way over here. This is just so good. It's so strong. Yeah, it just increases your damage. Your maximum essence stacks up to 8%. Really good. yeah, you're going to pick that up. Entomb, you're going to grab these two. You're going to want to, eventually, you're going to want to snake your way up, pick this up, and all these rare nodes, or magic nodes. You want to go down, pick up Reinvigorate, all these nodes, and then you're going to eventually want to go back up here. Go all the way around, grab this glyph socket. I believe you're going to want to put Territorial in it. I'll make another video once I get to all this, but for now, yeah, just put what you see fit. Just if you're past 60, if you're past where I'm at, just, you know, I'll make another video about it. But yeah, so that's Paragon points for now. You're going to get a lot more. I'm only at what, like, how many Paragon points do I have? Does it not tell me? Okay, either way, not too many Paragon points. Eventually you're gonna have, like, I think 5 boards, I think, for this build. But yeah, so yeah, I'll show you guys some gameplay of this build, like in like a dungeon or something. I might just go to the open world because I'm kind of lazy, but it's fucking 3:43 in the morning, you know, kind of tired. But I'll be right back when I get there. Okay, so I'm just in like some random event over here, but what you want to do is, here, let me pull all these ads over here. Ooh, there's like a little event going on too. So yes, he's just one-shot the enemy. That's not really even the beginning of it. So what you're gonna do is Corpse Tendril, and then you want to put Bone Prison. You should pop Bone Storm before that, and then just watch them all disappear, basically. It's just really strong. If you run out of essence, just spam that, kill everything. Again, just pop Bone Storm, pop Corpse Tendril, Bone Prison, and then right click, or Bone Spear. Just instantly destroy everything in front of you. It doesn't matter at all. Literally whatever it is, 50,000 damage at level 60, 65,000 damage. Like, it's nuts. I'll show you like a clip of me killing a boss. You'll kill bosses in literally like seconds. It's nuts. I don't even know what the hell I just did there. Oh, I don't even think I killed him. Well, either way, yeah, I'll show some gameplay of a boss, just to get a better like preview of how this build is. Just yeah, see a whole group of enemies. Some of them are pretty low, but it's still just deleting literally everything. This isn't really a nightmare dungeon, but you know, it's still world tier 3, and this is literally destroying. Yeah, bone shards aren't really that good, but Bone Spear is the true heavy hitter. I'll skip over to when I get to the boss now. Alright, made it to the boss. Yeah, so I'll click on that. Should pop out a boss. Okay, for this, so what you're going to want to do is, for the setup, you want to put that, pop Bone Storm, and then just, yeah, like, what was that, like three Bone Spears? Instantly melted the boss. Yeah, you know, too easy. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you know, would appreciate it if you were to like and sub to the video. Really fucking appreciate it. Yep, I'll see you guys later. Peace.